Welcome back to Without Shortcuts. Today we are making challah.
Challah is a wonderful, nice, nurturing bread, and it would be really nice and nurturing to us if you reach down and subscribe to the channel and at least give this video a quick like.
Challah is a delicious, eggy bread that is fantastic on its own. It's also wonderful in bread pudding and makes an awesome French toast. Now, it is a
Rich
bread, so it's got a few more ingredients than just a traditional bread. It takes a little bit of extra work, but it is definitely worth the effort. Now, the ingredients that we've got out here today, we've done all of these by weight as opposed to volume. Now, that gets more important as you get more into baking breads and worrying about ratios of dry ingredients to wet ingredients. Just kind of helps you know a little bit what you're looking for. And then as you get more experience, you know, it helps you kind of riff off of some other recipes so that you can kind of explore some things and, you know, kind of see what you come up with. The most important part is weighing out the flour. And that's just because depending on how you scoop the flour out of whatever container you've got it in, whether it's compressed or has a lot of air in it, can drastically change the amount of flour that actually goes into your bread.
You done?
Yeah, got it.
All right. So now that you've got all your ingredients, everything's ready to go. This does have, you know, a little bit more of a process, but when it comes to actually mixing the ingredients, the process is really simple. You're basically going to take everything, you're going to put it in your mixing bowl, and just mix it up. On our eggs, we are using 2 whole eggs and then 1 egg yolk with that, but you want to make sure you keep the white because we're going to use it later on down the line to put over the top of it to get that nice color. So I'll just separate this one. I'll do a quick beat on those. Those, and we add our yeast and our salt, and then we're just going to put this on the mixer. We're just going to use the bread hook to knead those together until they come out nice and smooth and soft. It's possible in this process that you may need to add a little bit more flour if this mixture is too sticky right now. It could be up to another 1/4 of a cup or so, but wait until it kind of starts mixing together and see where you're at texture wise.
Dough is nice and soft and smooth. So we're going to take this out of the bowl. And that's just going to go right into our greased proofing container. And then we'll just set that, cover it, set it in a warm spot, and that'll sit for about 2 hours. It's going to get nice and puffy. Probably not quite going to double in size.
Our challah is proofed. You can see that it's just about double, maybe even a little more. So we're going to go ahead and pour that out and start to get to shaping it. Now, when it comes to shaping challah, there's several different ways to do it. There's several different ways that are traditional depending on the event or the occasion or just what you want it to represent. For our pleasure, we're going to go ahead and go with just a 4-plait braid. And the reason we're going to do that is because 3 plaits is nice. 4 plaits is roughly 1/3 better than that. So we're just going to do that. If you wanted to do it as a 3-strand braid, it's just like doing your hair. It's just one over the other all the way down. Pinching the ends is the same process that we're going to show you. But for now, we're going to show you 4 just because that's what we decided we wanted. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put just a little bit of vegetable oil on our counter. Clean counters, remember. No one's trying to get sick. You don't want to do anything like that. A little bit of oil. Then we're just going to pour our challah out. Then we're going to divide this into 4 equal sections. So I'm going to start just by getting a measure of this whole thing. Okay. I will pass those off to Brian to let him start that process.
All right, so you're gonna take each one of your pieces of dough here and we're gonna roll them out into a rope about 20 inches long-ish. If you start getting a whole lot of resistance, go ahead and cover it up with a towel or something to keep it from drying out. Let it rest for 10 minutes or so, and that'll give the gluten just a little bit of time to relax.
All right, now it's time to start shaping.
Okay, so the first thing that you're gonna do is we're gonna pinch the tops of the strands together so that everything sticks together up there. Now the best way to think about this is that each spot is numbered, right? So we go from 1 to 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. The spots never change depending on which piece of dough is where. Those numbers always stay the same, okay? So we're going to get this started. So we're going to go, number 4 is going to come back over number 2. Just like that. Okay, so now, even though this dough is in a different spot, we're still 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now, number 1 is going to come over number 3. Just like that. Okay, so now we're still here at 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now 2 is going to go over 3. And then we're going to start right back, or we're going to go back right to where we started. So 4 is going to go over 2. 1 is going to go over 3. And then 2 is going to go over 3. And then we'll just keep doing that all until we get all the way to the end. Okay, and then once we get to the end here, we're going to kind of pinch those together and just tuck that under. We'll kind of tuck the top under just a little bit, and that's going to give us a nice shaped loaf right there. Now we're just going to move our loaf over to the sheet pan, just like that.
Now it needs to proof a second time so that it gets nice and puffy before we actually throw it in the oven and bake it. So while it's proofing, we're just going to cover it lightly with a little bit of plastic wrap. We'll let that sit and proof, and then we'll come back and we'll throw it in the oven.
Our challah has risen. It looks beautiful. The last thing that we're going to do before we put it in the oven is, this is just our reserved egg white that we had left over, just beaten together with about a tablespoon of water. We're just going to brush this whole thing down, and that's just going to help give our challah that distinctive, just dark brown color.
Like Da Vinci with that brush, yo.
Now, the other thing that you can do before we put this in the oven, if you want, is you can sprinkle some poppy seeds over the top of this, or some sesame seeds. We're just going to go ahead and leave ours as is.
Our challah is done. It is looking wonderful. We're really excited about this one. We're going to go ahead and cut this and give it a little taste. We're actually going to use most of this to make French toast, so tune in next week to see how that comes out. But for the time being, let's just double check and make sure we did something right here.
All right.
Little challah.
All right. A little butter on there.
Don't get too much butter off of that dish.
There you are, sir.
Thank you. Here, here.
All right.
So the funny thing about this bread is, you look at it, you look at everything that went into it, the time, and then you take a bite of it, and it is so light and soft, and yet there's still so much flavor packed into it. It's
absolutely.
just, you just can't even wrap your head around exactly what you're getting from what it feels like. It's really unique, but it is excellent.
Absolutely. And you know what, like we said at the very beginning, on its own, it's awesome. It's also great as French toast, bread pudding, anything like that. So if you've never tried challah before, or even if you have, give this a try. Let us know how that goes down in the comments.
Let us see exactly how you're going to plait your bread. If you're going to braid it, 4 strands, 9 strands. Whoever gets the most strands wins. Let's see.
All right. So yeah, hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, and until next time, skip the shortcuts.
Thanks, guys.